Good evening, it is Monday, November 13th at 5:59 p.m. and we're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call is Renee O'Donnell, Brian Carlisle, Kurt Giles, and Cindy Grant, all present and accounted for. We are waiting for a presentation from, are you Eric? Are you Eric?
Yes.
No, okay, Eric from Doug's Disposal.
Yeah.
But he has not arrived yet, so I'm just going to do the warrants and when he arrives, we'll go back to that.
Do
Is
you want
that
to do public comment first?
public comment? Anybody?
I have public comment. I'm not sure if I should wait. I see that what I have comments or questions about is on the agenda. Do I wait until the agenda item or?
What part of the agenda?
The building security system.
Yeah.
Do you want, you can public comment now if you want.
I just have some questions.
Okay.
We had some issues with vandalism.
Hold on a second. I couldn't hear you.
We've had some issues with vandalism on
Yeah.
the playground.
Okay.
And then most recently we had an incident with someone passing a school bus with the lights on that was unloading students. And I guess my question is, is there training or is there IT support for the security system that's available to the people that have access?
And why would you ask that?
Because whenever I've asked if anything can be seen on the cameras, nothing can be seen. And so it
Well, we have a policy that we just passed that says who can see what's on the cameras. And that's the town manager or anybody, town manager is the administrator. But do you guys have cameras for yourselves? I mean, our cameras are just for, in my mind, our cameras are for the security of the building. Not to maybe see who passed the bus. Do you guys have any cameras over there at all?
No.
Of your own?
No, we're
No.
talking about the safety of students in this parking lot. And my concern is that if the camera system isn't good enough to be able to capture a license plate or the writing on the side of the vehicle, then I'm not really sure as a taxpayer, if that was the best investment. Is that the quality of the security cameras that we should have been investing in, if that makes sense?
Well, the main purpose that we got those is for the activity that was taking place on the roof. We had no intention of,
Right.
at least when we were looking into it, to identify vehicles.
But what is the difference between identifying a person or a vehicle?
They're a lot closer to the camera.
But there aren't cameras on the roof.
No, we had some vandalism ourselves here at the building.
Right,
Kids were coming up, climbing on the roof.
right.
So that's what the cameras were for, to catch people moving around the building. I'm sure a car moves a little bit faster than a person.
But there's 8 cameras. And I feel like once law enforcement became involved, then they were able to see what we were asking to be seen.
Right, but she does not have the authority to show you what's on the camera.
I didn't ask to see it.
Okay. So, I guess what are you asking then?
Well, my concern is that there wasn't knowledge to be able to slow the footage down or to download the footage when law enforcement asked for it. So I'm wondering if there is IT support, is there training that comes with how to use this system?
We have IT support with us. Yeah, we have IT support with the system, yes.
And so everyone that has access would know how to use this security system.
I would assume that the town manager, who has access to most of it, to all of it, I guess, would contact IT if she had a problem.
Okay, so it's safe to say that law enforcement would not need to visit the building multiple times to get what they need.
I don't know the answer to that. Would law enforcement need to visit the
Not
building?
anymore.
Not anymore. Anybody else, public comment? Okay, so we'll do warrants. Okay, warrant PY number 15 for $16,895.71. AP warrant number 16 for $319,917.77. AP warrant number 17 for $6,410.17. PY warrant number 18 for $5,922.24. AP warrant number 19 for $129,724.34. PY warrant number 20 for $13,271.31. And AP warrant number 21 for $159,071.31. I'll make a motion to accept the warrants as read.
Second.
All in favor? 3-0. Okay. Abatements and supplements. None. Agenda adjustments. All I'm gonna do is repeat that when Eric gets here from Doug's disposal, we'll kind of stop at where we're at and talk to him about the trash contract. No agenda adjustments. Departments. Fire and, oh, sorry, I jumped right over those. Did you guys read the minutes? Yeah, anybody have any comments, changes? The only thing I noticed on page 2, under number 4, it said Cindy G and John were taking, I think it means talking. About a way to get it across the driveway. I'm assuming that's what that's what the intention is. So can I make a motion that we accept the minutes with that minor change? Okay. Second, all in favor? 3-0, okay. Okay, fire and rescue,
Good evening.
you're up.
So, 100% on call volume. We have started a new program for the EMS service called Prodigy to get everybody so that they have got their hours for the CEHs. The 2 EMTs are looking at 44 to 52, depending on whether the state allows for to be determined as of yet. We have got all the trucks in for inspections, and we've had some repairs done on 498. We found that the rear shocks were broke, so we had to order some lifetime heavy-duty replacement shocks. Now, at least if anything happens to them, they will be replaced 100% cost-free. So that's a good thing. And I was just told at about 4 o'clock while I was setting that 467 was on its way back. It went in last week on Wednesday, and it had a service, an inspection, an air leak, and it had a speed sensor that was messed up. We changed the speed sensor, and the truck would not accept the speed sensor and the update that it took to make it activate. So the truck ended up over to CB Kenworth on Friday to have a diagnostic done on it, and CB Kenworth basically said, we can't do anything with this truck, we don't know what's going on, but it won't read through our diagnostic machine. So this morning, it ended up at Daigle and Houghton. Daigle had to go in and reflash the ECM, which we discovered wasn't the original ECM for that truck, so there was some confusion there. They called us and asked us if we had it changed since we owned it, and I said no. So it was something that was done prior to us purchasing the truck, but it caused a little headache because what the settings should have been for the VIN and what the settings for that ECM were completely different. So they had to know which ones to use, but good news is at 4 o'clock the truck was on its way back to Newburgh, so it's back in service.
Good.
So we will stand by to see what comes about of that on the cost factor, cause I have no idea where we're gonna be with that truck, unfortunately. The other big piece of information that I wanted you guys to be aware of was that, Alice Lehman had to step down as our captain,
Yeah, it's all right.
unfortunately. And he is still gonna stay on to do our QA/QIs and do a lot of our, billing setups for the medical side. And then, he's also gonna do some training, which I believe he's doing one tonight, if I'm not mistaken right now. And then, I'd like to introduce the new captain,
Okay,
Neil Ashford, got the captain's position.
okay.
We had a interview between him and the other lieutenant the end of last week. So, made the decisions and got that all in place. The second lieutenant's position is gonna hold off for a while. We're gonna go with 1 and 1 and see how we do. There's some adjustments being made for a lot of our duties and expectations of what everybody is gonna be doing, but we're pretty much still headed forward. So
Very good.
that's where we want.
Very good. I'm gonna hold on just for a second right there. I know think you guys are not finished, but.
Yep.
Are you Eric?
Yes.
Okay, how are you
Sorry.
tonight?
Good. Well,
Quite all
typical
right.
Monday.
Quite all right, don't worry about it, don't worry
Sick
about it.
kids, and I bet we saw at least 2 accidents on the way here. I don't know
Oh,
what's going on with there tonight.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah. It was,
So,
Eric, I'm Cindy, the one you talked to on the phone.
well, good to meet you.
This is Brian,
I,
Renee, and
Kurt,
Kurt.
Wow.
Almost
Wow.
almost.
yeah, just a little bit of a
You
moment
had a
there.
senior moment there for me.
Oh.
First of
boy.
all, I wanna thank you for reacting so quickly for us and.
Well, it was,
Yeah,
we're surviving,
yeah,
but it's kind of a world, you want more work, that's always kind of the name of the game, but
Yeah.
we're on scary times here, so
yeah, exactly.
it's, I don't know. We're excited, both that and nervous at the same
Yeah.
time, you know, I mean,
It seems to be running pretty smoothly.
yeah, it does.
You know,
The truck that we're currently using on it is very borderline at best, able to handle the capacity of trash over here.
yeah,
Stetson, it does fine. You seem to be about a ton over what it likes.
just the scotch,
The
right?
first trip they sent me, the back was full and behind the cab was full, and they had trash in the cab.
Oh my
They were
goodness.
headed to the landfill and stuff. And this last week, I had to run over. I mean, you call. They had to run
Yeah.
over with another truck
Yeah.
in the evening to finish the last road.
Yeah.
But if we are able to move to the side loader that we have, that's a much bigger truck, and that's really been our focus.
Okay,
That was our focus with Stetson. I have a 1-year conditional contract with Stetson as we try to work out the bugs on how to move forward with that, because it's mainly like everybody becoming a staffing thing. So
Right.
the closer. I told her I have a 6 and 11-year-old. I got to get them raised and through school, so I got to figure out how to make this work with the world we're living in, and moving
Right.
towards automation is just where it's at.
okay,
It adds some hiccups, but it simplifies a lot of the issues we have too.
right. So,
From barrel size, barrel weight, right down to, I mean, I had a guy a couple weeks ago in Connecticut jump off the back of the truck because he thought it was rolling over. Well, the truck was air ride.
oh,
So, I mean, there's just stupid calm things like that
Yeah.
that happen that I can completely eliminate,
yeah.
you know. But
When do you anticipate making that changeover? I mean, I'm
I-
assuming that
I have the truck sitting there now waiting.
I'm assuming that we would have to have a different trash receptacle for it to work with your truck.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But a large majority, this is what pushed me here, is a large majority of people are going to Home Depot and Lowe's and buying those 96-gallon toters because
Right.
they don't blow away.
Right,
Well, my workers' comp and all that, I can't ask my guys to dump that.
right,
If they do, I can't tell them to, because if I instruct them to essentially get hurt,
yeah,
so we run into a lot of conflict with customers over loose trash in the bottom of those that isn't getting dumped because of
they must weigh a lot.
I mean, depends on the person, you know. person who has 18 cats, yeah, it weighs a lot. You know, the person who leaves it open under the eaves of their house, it weighs a lot. But there are some people who will just put one bag in the bottom, and yeah, you can reach in and grab it, but your toes aren't touching the ground when you're leaning over the edge. So this truck is kind of, and I got to the point where, you know, what comes first, the toters or the truck? And I found a good deal on the truck in South Carolina, and I brought it up, and was my very next move. But Stetson called kind of in a panic here this summer, and I took them on, and then you guys, and unfortunately,
Yeah,
there's
we
only
had,
so much the budget can expand all at once.
we had a week's notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and that is unfortunate,
Yeah.
but I am also not surprised.
Okay.
The
So-
way they've been.
Where are we at here, Cindy?
So, Eric, are you willing to sign like a conditional you did with Stetson so that we can work towards that truck? So you can get us the information, or,
Well, the Stetson is, they wanted a year, given the volume issue
yeah,
on my truck. I mean, we're limping by
Yeah.
right now. I would like to make it a very much priority to get them ordered, because they're sometime, depending on the quantity, 6 weeks out.
Okay.
so
And
what's
that's-
involved in this? As
Well,
far as,
typically, if I supplied the toters, you'd have a much higher contract given the cost.
right,
But where I am now, it would be much more desirable to me if you guys got them. And
Yeah.
long term, it'd be easier for you guys to manage your own cans for your customers, so people,
Right.
you know if somebody's moving out, and
So
if
are
your barrels
any-
are disappearing. I put them over here, they've already moved out and stolen the barrels.
are there any of the ones that people are using now that can use?
Yeah,
Or is it one specific type?
I went over to Stetson and like 40% of the people already had them.
Is there,
Now,
so,
the issue you're gonna run into is if you're supplying this customer, and that customer bought their own, there's gonna be, why'd they have to
Right.
buy my own if you
Right.
bought it for this person?
right.
Right,
This
So
is
is
where
there,
this.
is there a type that we could like post on our website and send out with our newsletter, a picture, a size, something? We put out a newsletter periodically,
The best way to get them is in volume,
is in volume.
I mean, it's a minimum 100 toter order for me.
Okay.
And it's about $8,000 for 100.
Phew.
And that's where I'm at. Like I said, you guys, everything's coming at me right now, and I'm in the middle
Yeah.
of building a transfer station to handle, so me just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta slow down the spending train here.
Right, one less thing on
But-
your plate, sure.
But I understand what it is too. You know, it's not gonna be fun for any of us, but for me to do it, it's where we gotta go.
Could we,
And if that's not where you wanna go, I will get you guys through until you do what you have to. I'm not just gonna abandon you at this point.
okay,
If this isn't gonna work between what I can provide and what you wanna do, I will get you through until you guys, you know.
so, comments, thoughts?
I do.
Yes.
So when I went and talked over to Pine Tree, this is where all the towns are headed.
Okay,
Number one, manpower,
right,
and the second thing is COVID kind of steered this trash thing so that nobody is handling it.
right.
So, we're a lot better off than some of the other towns that Sullivan's
Yeah,
got rid of.
yeah,
Town of Glenburn. Their people were told to put their trash out on Tuesday. It might be picked up Wednesday, it might be picked up Thursday, it might be picked up Friday. They don't know. Pine Tree is trying to, they have no drivers. He told me,
Everybody's-
I went, he's
right.
got trucks outside of his
That are empty.
office, no drivers. He's gone as far as New Hampshire trying to find drivers.
So, what I'm thinking is you would like to transition to your automated truck.
Yeah.
So what if we set a goal of April 1st? Would that, is that?
That's a long winter for me.
That's a long winter
That's
for
a
you?
long winter for me. I'm like I said, we're,
Well, we gotta teach an old dog some new
oh
tricks
yeah,
out
no,
here.
I
Yeah.
get it's gonna be, but whether we rip the Band-Aid off in April or we rip it off,
Sooner
you
than
know,
that?
the biggest thing is gonna be, the hardest process is gonna be educating the people.
Right,
They gotta be faced this way. I've been trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this for my customers as I slowly transition my customers.
right,
A YouTube video, give people a link to click on. This is how you set it out by the road.
right.
It
Handle
has to
face-
be faced to
Yeah.
the road, and it has to be where we can reach it, you know?
That's how it is in, out of state everywhere.
I was gonna say, the guy I
You
bought
put
the
it to
truck
the end
from,
of
he
your driveway,
goes,
the handle has to be.
you don't have one of these yet? And I'm like, nobody up here has one. He goes, nobody in the rest of the country does what you're doing
No.
anymore.
No,
I mean, I had a guy in the hospital the other day, somebody threw a kitchen knife in the trash. He grabbed the bag, cut his handle. I mean, I've been hit by cars riding on the back.
yeah,
You know, I had a station wagon take me out one day. You know, I mean, it's just, like you
But
said, it's
nobody-
just gotten to the point.
nobody does it like that.
They're not out in the rain, they're not out in the snow. The drivers, you know,
Yeah.
granted, you have to have a better driver.
So,
But
hold on, let me kick
Yeah.
back to you for a minute. Where are we getting the money to buy cans if we buy cans?
Go to the town and ask them to use some of that trash money.
That's what I was gonna say. We have that $80,000 set aside.
That's over $100,000 now.
It's over $100,000 now. Okay, that's,
But we also remember have, our spring cleanup was $8,000, was it 11,000? And what we can do is move the pickup to the next fiscal year, which is only maybe, 6 weeks away.
right,
from-
right. I remember us discussing
But that was to pay, cause you had told me,
That was to pay the contract.
you're gonna bill us on these weeks. And you
For the
said you could
cleanup.
do it for, I believe, what, 70?
No, it's trash pickup, right?
Huh?
Just trash pickup.
This is
what
just
it's
trash
Right, just
pickup.
trash pickup.
just
We're
trash.
gonna get billed based on a $70,000 contract.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
And to pay
my
that.
business has started off via individual customers. The
Yeah.
contract thing's kinda new to me. I stayed away from it, cause that's where the big companies were.
Yeah,
But now, it's harder. The individual person's getting harder to deal with for me. We'll put it that way. So it's opened my eyes, but I'm new to the bidding.
right.
I mean, I had somebody tell me the other day, he goes, "You're stupid for doing it for that," because Sullivan's went out of business for not much less than that. But Sullivan's had a lot of other issues that, you know, that just nobody really was there who knew the business, understand it, and wanted to see it work. So it slowly self-imploded.
Yeah.
I have an active interest in moving
Yeah.
forward, you know. So, yeah,
Well, as far as I can see, we want you to succeed, so
Right.
it helps us be able to,
well.
so we can always, we'll find what needs to.
And if you move towards automated and you own your own cans, cause, you know, barring down the road, something doesn't work out, you're not happy with me, this is where the future's heading.
Yeah.
Now you're a desirable customer for Casella to
Yeah.
come in. Now you're, you know,
Yeah,
doing away with recycling saved your hide a lot, cause if you told me you had recycling,
Yeah.
you'd never got me to show up.
You know, when we had the meeting, when this all happened, someone said, ask them about recycling. I said, you can't ask them about recycling. Nobody takes recycling. There's nowhere to take recycling.
If it does, it goes down the road and gets put in the trash.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
And
So-
as sad as that is to
I
say,
actually know
It's
towns that are
cost-driven.
doing that. They are afraid to tell their residents they're not recycling. It's easier
People
just to have
freak
it picked up and
out.
send it to Old Town.
So how many cans do we need?
that's gonna be a hard one. That's why I'm saying, you're gonna have to figure out if you provide each resident one, and if they need an
Right.
additional,
They have to
buy
buy
it.
it.
How much did you say it was for 100?
It was,
$100
well,
a piece,
the auto
8,000,
cans,
Yeah.
toters were 8,800, the load I got. Auto cans I got a price from, they were about $8,000. The biggest thing is the shipping. You know, you're
Yeah.
talking $3,000 to ship.
Eight
So-
8,000 for 100?
Yeah,
Yeah, but you might be able to fit 500 on a truck for the same 2,500 shipping.
Yep,
That's where you might get a little savings, as if you could get a lot at once.
yep.
And then that's branded, that comes with a serial number, branded with your logo of your choice.
Yeah,
And then it's just figuring out how to keep people from running off of them.
Yeah.
You know, whether you charge people a deposit or, you know.
Yep.
And you know your residents, you know if somebody's moving out, you know what's going on, so you can kind of stay ahead of, hey, have you turned in your barrels, or,
yeah,
you know, or you have access to their tax information. Me, I'm just throwing
Yep.
$100 toters out in the wind and hoping I get them back.
yeah.
Right, that doesn't make any sense for you.
No, that-
Well, I mean, it
That's
does, but I
exactly-
obviously have to factor in that loss
Yeah.
into the price
Plan for it.
to, you know.
I was shocked, when, I sound like a country mouse, but I was shocked when I had to do that and get a can, and it had a serial number on it, and you had to sign for it, and leave a deposit for it, I'm like.
And the
you-
toters have a microchip in them.
You guys are
Know the
serious
salt
about
grade,
your
you know the
trash.
truck. Well,
Yeah,
out of state, it's a
Out
huge
of state,
thing.
yeah.
People stealing hundreds and hundreds of those cans off a route.
yeah,
Crazy.
But that's the biggest thing is to figure out how to get everybody adjusted and happy. Getting the cans is going to be easy, you know. Figuring out money is always figuring out money. It's just that's the way.
Katie, what was you gonna say?
So my question is, have you had any issues with like winter time, like the snowplow taking them out, throwing trash everywhere, or like sitting closer to the road? Because you know this question's gonna
Well-
come when we go this route, so.
Well,
You know how many stops I miss a winter because they put it out in white bags and I can't find it.
Right,
And
well that.
my trash was out where?
Yeah.
Or I'm out up to my waist in snow trying to find it
In
out
a
in the
snowbank.
woods.
yeah,
We had a pile
So
down
that's
here.
gonna be that's a lost cause.
maybe we
Do
just
you
order
have,
bright
like,
red
an average
cans.
of cans that you know you lose in a winter, like for the towns that do the toter?
I do. Like I said, I just got this truck this summer. I don't actually have any route set up for it yet, so I can't. And the guy I got it from, I'll tell you anything you want to know. Come down, ride in my truck, but they don't have snowplows. So once again, this is a new.
Yeah.
Casella would be the big one to ask on that, and I don't know how they will be with divulging information. But I believe Old Town is now doing the side loader thing. It started with Bangor.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, it's just. And it's
Maybe-
no, it's
maybe
not
we could-
perfect. It's not ideal.
Could you call
There's
Old
gonna be
Town
flaws,
and see where they
but
got their
Yep.
cans and see how they set up their
Yep.
program? Cause I think what we,
Cause Old Town is another town that went with PERT.
okay,
I dealt with the town manager up there
okay.
quite closely.
And when we started Stetson, I took a count, and about 40% of the people already had these toters.
So they're the same ones you buy from Lowe's with the
Lowe's,
flip top?
they're dark green. You know,
Okay.
the ones at Lowe's are all a generic color. You guys can pick if you order them. You can pick from a large. Like I bought the brightest ones I could find.
that's what I just said,
Bright
it's like
orange.
bright red
Yellow
or
or
bright
orange.
orange or.
Fluorescent green is what I got. So they're very unique. If somebody has stolen them, they stand out somewhere. You know, a lot of reasons. The
Okay.
drivers can find them easier.
Okay,
Casella did their company color, which is a more neutral.
Green.
Nah, well, they're
Sort
like
of
a
green.
dark blue.
Blue.
yeah, navy blue, I
Bluish
think.
green.
it is.
Those are auto carts. They're the little cheaper ones, but a lot of people seem to like them. OTTO. And I have a sales rep that I contacted on them.
Okay.
The Lowe's brand is a toter, T-O-T-E-R. They're the ones that I ordered a load of. They were a little more expensive and a lot of assembly required. And 100 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're dragging them around on your front lawn, putting wheels on, you're really getting sick of it. And then trying to line them up in numerical order of their serial number on the front so you can keep track of what. Yeah, it was not. what
Fun
I-
times.
Yeah.
It wasn't the afternoon I thought I was getting into. But
Okay, so we're probably gonna have to have a couple meetings on this.
Yep.
So
What-
about 6 weeks if we ordered.
I would say,
trillion.
what kind of
Well-
timeline are you want us to shoot
Autocart
for?
had a stack of them on the ground they could have dropped it. Toter was 6 weeks.
Toter was 6 weeks.
Toter was 6
You
weeks.
said auto cart?
The auto
Oh,
carts,
GTO.
they had them. They
I
had a
didn't
bunch.
get that. Could
They
you
had
say
100 for me in the color I
This one.
wanted. I don't know how many. I think depending on the color you want as to how many they have pre-made and
Right,
ready.
okay,
to-
sure.
And then they're gonna need some time to stamp your
Serial,
logo, but
yeah.
I think it's pretty quick.
I don't
The
know.
toters I ordered through Main Equipment, and that's why I ordered toters so I could support locally a little more, but I don't like them as much as the autos.
Now, is this truck bigger than the one
Yes,
you're using?
this truck
So this
is
one will do the
much
whole
more,
town?
this truck, no problem.
Okay.
I've kept a fleet of smaller trucks because I do a lot of smaller roads.
Yeah,
But I do have this one big truck that I've had for doing Dover and Sangerville and, I come down through, but I have to keep him on the main roads.
yeah.
I do a lot of stuff up around like Sebec Lake and down these camp roads.
Oh, yeah.
Buying mirrors and buying this, cause we're trying, a bigger trucks than you have gotten in here, yeah, next thing you know, I got heavy recovery and dragging me up off the lake, so.
Yeah.
So I've stayed with smaller trucks, but,
I have to tell you, the 2 weeks, I've heard nothing but
well,
good things.
I
Yeah.
feel like the message you sent out and the way whoever worded that, kinda let people know that they should be thankful that it's getting picked up at all. So it didn't leave them a lot of room to
Right,
complain.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you,
Plain
I'm also a
oil.
resident, I work for the town also, but it's been nice that my can is stood up when they're done. The lid is with it, and they're not flown everywhere. It's been really nice, because like last week it was windy, and Cindy said, hey, is trash been picked up? I'm like, I don't know, the lid's still on, let me go look. And I picked it up, and I was like, they put my lid back on. It didn't fly away, I didn't have to go in the ditch to chase it, like, it's been really nice the last 2 weeks.
Can't always promise that though.
Yeah.
That's just the guy that I have in your truck right now.
It's been nice, and you know what I mean, and we don't expect it all the time, but it's definitely a nice change from being tucked in the ditch, just because they grabbed and just threw it in the ditch
Wow.
instead
So what's the size of the total
setting it up.
can? What's the quart, like a 80 or
96 is the ones I've been getting, but they have 64s. They have like 3 different sizes.
Can you pick
64s.
up different sizes, or does
That's
it?
what
The
wondering.
claw will grab. The only one that I think I'd have to get a special claw is they make a 300 gallon one,
Oh,
a
my
big
goodness.
round
Oh,
barrel,
yeah.
and you need special arms for that.
Yeah.
But other than that, yes, they're all designed pretty
If
much
I go
the
by
same.
my own, I just wanna make sure that
Yeah.
whatever I buy is still gonna work for
Yeah.
your truck, that's all.
Yeah.
So,
Those-
okay, so maybe that's what we have to do, we get the specs on his, we get some, and you can either get them from the town at, I don't know, you've gotta charge them a deposit for it, right?
Yep.
My wheels have been turning on this, on how to insure my investment with my customers,
Yeah.
so. If you guys figure it out, let me know, because I wanna,
Well, I'll call Old
You don't wanna
Town
push
tomorrow
people
and
away.
find out what they're
No.
doing. I may even be able to contact Bangor,
and get
because we
somebody-
have a resident here that works for Public Works.
Okay, that may be an avenue. to-
And he might be able to get me the information on it.
David Little might be too. David Little might have that info too.
I don't know for sure, but I heard that Bangor bought one, and then if you wanted more, they had
Yeah,
to go
that
buy
seems
another,
like the
so.
logical way to do it.
The city provided the first
Provided
one.
the first one.
One of them
Like I said,
is,
If you
heard.
lose it or somebody
They're very
steals
big.
it, you're on your own
Yeah.
after that.
That's,
an average household
Sounded
should
like-
not need more than one. They
I would
are,
hope not. That
No,
was
they're
big.
big,
95
There's a
times
lot
a
of-
gallon.
yeah.
they're,
Okay.
my initial use for them
Oh,
was
yeah.
planned is, I've been for 4 years, like 65 2-yard dumpsters behind. I can't get caught up. Everybody wants one in their yard. Well, one of these is a half a yard.
Yeah.
So I put so many of those dumpsters at $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
I can give them the same service weekly with one of those toters. Was my that's me trying to
Right. Right.
I do
avoid
have
buying so
another
many
question.
dumpsters.
You saying that reminded me, dumpsters.
Yep.
Have you found any extra? Cause we're still missing this one out here.
We can come up with one when the time comes, but this truck will not dump dumpsters. So you will supplement it with toters. If you had 1 2-yarder, you'd have 4 toters.
Okay,
That will be, that's the area where it gets
Okay,
tricky.
okay.
alright,
Because the only way to load this truck, you can't even throw bags, it's in the top. The
Yeah.
arm reaches
Yeah.
up and shakes
Yeah,
it
it
on the
goes
top.
Over the top,
boom.
yeah.
okay.
So, and that's, the hang up with these is a little loose trash, packing peanuts, people need to really bag their stuff, which that stuff's aggravating on the rear loader,
Right.
but it's a little more manageable when you're back,
Yeah.
you can,
Well, Sullivan's they wouldn't take the trash can if there was loose trash.
well,
So that's why you probably don't.
getting
see
a
much
littering
litter.
fine down the road
Yeah.
because somebody took,
That's exactly,
yeah.
it's, so maybe we put out we have a couple meetings, but we gotta put out a newsletter just about trash,
Yep,
Very, very informative.
you know, just about trash.
There's gonna be a lot of information
Amy-
needed for
Amy
people.
just looked up the price on a toter.
Yeah,
at
how much
Lowe's,
was?
$136
Yeah.
for a 96.
124 at Home Depot.
You can get them about $80 a piece.
So-
buying
buying
them.
them in bulk.
Okay.
And they're better quality, the bulk ones, believe it or not.
So I mean, they're gonna save.
I'd like to,
time.
I think that we should go the route of a colored with a serial number. So I come in, you guys, there have to be a computer program or a spreadsheet set up. You know, O'Donnell's got
Yep.
serial number, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah, and that's that.
Yep.
When
And
it
I'm
gets
assuming
damaged, we
that
shuffle
these
it out.
ones that you don't get from Home Depot come all assembled.
What's that?
The ones that you order,
Well, I think, I haven't ordered the auto carts, but I think the autos, the problem with the toters, they wouldn't stack with the wheels on them. I think the design of the autos,
They
they're a little taller, I think, but I think they're designed so they'll stack complete. That'll be a good question. I mean, that's not the end of the road, that's
you can
just,
see the four of us at
that's
the
just the
gym.
reason to
putting
stop
wheels
at the
put
beer
covers
store.
and wheels on.
We're gonna have a cover and wheel party.
Yeah,
We'll
Yeah.
put it in our newsletter.
Yeah.
Cover and wheel party.
But,
as far as cleanups, I hate them as much as recycling, but they're part of it. My goal is to try to get guys to a 4-day work week, not working Saturdays.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm in the middle of setting up a transfer station. The one thing I see in Kenduskeag with the cleanups, when you can only get rid of something once a year, they got a bank over in Kenduskeag, they just throw it. Stetson, I've tried to talk to them about considering, like, if you have a mattress, come to the town office and schedule it.
that's what you do out of state.
And we will, because right now, we're going to the landfill anyway.
Dishwasher,
That's where all the bulky waste is going,
mattress,
so.
furniture, anything like that, you have to call the city and
And
say, and they'll say, put it out beside on your street next week at such and
Such a
such and such a day.
as long as we don't get 20 mattresses in a day, and as long as we're still going to the landfill where they don't mind, we can sneak one in.
Well, last year, what we did for our spring cleanup is the trucks were at our,
turn up to the salt shed.
all
Yeah.
over, and people brought their stuff there.
Yeah,
And so that they didn't have to drive around town and all that stuff,
yeah.
I mean,
No, we definitely wouldn't do the drive
No,
around town
I didn't think
stuff.
so.
But Stetson's
That's
gone.
awesome.
long gone.
those days are gone, and it's been a learning curve for the residents even
Yeah.
with that.
Well,
you know.
and that's, I'm trying to think on how to make that easier. Like I said, I'm setting up a transfer station because I haul everything to DM&J.
Right,
Well, I have a roll-off with a quarter a ton in it. I'm driving from,
Charleston,
you know,
yeah,
beyond
yeah,
Greenville. I got some cans I put in Greenville and I'm hauling them to Winterport for
Wow.
a quarter of a ton.
right,
So I need to consolidate my stuff
Right.
too. But, and it's a hard thing. I've had to change my rules with my customers steady due to where we're dumping.
right,
Fiberite didn't even want to take laundry because it bound up their stuff, no textiles. So any of my thrift stores, I had to sell them a cardboard bin, a textile bin, and a trash bin. Now I feel terrible. I have to charge my customer for 3 dumpsters, and they have to have the room in their yard for 3. So, but then Fiberite goes away. Now you go back. Now you retrain the customer. It's okay to do this now. So I'm in the process of trying to make things
streamlined,
easier.
sure.
So where is the transfer station?
Mine's going to be in Charleston.
Okay.
So what he's saying is,
D&J.
if somebody has a mattress, they call you and say, Cindy, I have a mattress to get rid of. You say, okay, I'll call you back. You call him and he says, put it out next Wednesday, we'll get it either Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He just brings it to your site, your personal site, your own personal
They
transfer
could either
station.
bring it to me personally whenever they want,
Okay,
or possibly we could do like a once a month send a bulk truck around.
okay.
As make people hold on. You have 2 cleanups a year. Nobody's holding on to their stuff.
We only
Bottom
have
line,
one.
nobody's holding on to their stuff for a year.
We only have one.
Yeah, okay.
In the
Well, I thought
spring.
you said there was 2.
No,
We used
Yeah.
to do 2,
Used to.
they, nobody does it.
And it's
Nobody
hard for
does
us
it.
because I don't know if I got to show up with 5 trucks or 1.
Right, right,
And no matter what you do, you're unprepared.
right.
You know, and you try not to look like you're a hack at it, but never fails.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out where you're putting the last 3 couches before you leave.
Right.
Yeah, but so
but we have made our residents aware, they can take their stuff to DM&J anytime they want.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which,
and
that's what I would do.
Right, that's what I
mean,
would do.
they
It's like if
call-
I had
they
a
always
mattress,
call
I don't
and
wanna
ask
wait
me
till
for
next week, I'm just
information.
gonna bring it over to DM and
Right,
pay.
I'm gonna get rid of
Yeah.
it.
Or like I said, once a month, just send down a little packer truck and
Yeah. But we
clean
can,
up.
we can work out those
Yeah,
details as we go.
that's all. And I guess that's where I wanted to get, is I didn't wanna come down tonight and sign a contract and etch in stone, I'm just gonna, a gentleman's agreement. I mean, my family's been doing this my whole life, my dad got out of it for a little while.
Yeah.
In 2006, I started, I got out of college and all I learned in college is that I hated what I went to school for. And he bought his business back because he sold the Griffins when I was a kid to have more time for me, if any of this matters, but
That's all right.
he, then I started helping him. 3 years later, he had a massive heart attack and, on Sunday, and I woke up Monday and I don't know how I got another 14 years, but just one day at a time, I guess, but here I am.
Yeah.
So, I'm here for my reputation. I survived because of what my dad did, and I'm not gonna, if I told you guys I'm gonna be here, I haven't missed a day. Obviously, we're in a new world now, but I haven't missed a day for anybody in 14, 15 years.
Right.
2006, whatever the math is there.
I can't tell you how much I myself appreciate you picking us up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did have a warning call that I might be getting a call from somebody. Because all the other companies were calling around, hey, beware. Everybody's calling everybody right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And
Like
you
I
just
said-
happen to be right in the tonnage niche that
We
I
were
was,
third or fourth in line to Pine Tree,
yeah,
and as it was, he finally said, I
can't.
no.
And that's where, like, I don't really want to get bonded because I don't want to lose my house because my employees have a mutiny on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's happening everywhere these
Yeah.
days. I am going to do my best.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm constantly trying to make things good for my employees so they want to stick around, but I mean, you never know these days.
Yeah.
You do have liability insurance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I bleed insurance every year.
I'm thinking all
I
the
try
stuff
not
I
to
didn't
even
ask him, I
look.
was such a panic to get somebody to pick
Yeah.
trash up on Friday.
I try not to look at that bill when it comes in because it disgusts me. Especially when I get to the dump and the guy's there in the Toyota pickup with 4-foot sideboards on it undercutting me and no insurance.
No.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, we're all official.
Yeah.
I've been
yeah,
doing Kenduskeag for I don't even know how many years, long time.
Really?
My dad was still alive when we did that, so
Yeah.
that was 8 or 9, I think we got
Yeah.
that. To my knowledge, they don't have anything too awful to say about me.
I haven't called over there,
No,
but,
So-
when she called to tell me about the trash situation, I had a customer of mine in my shop, and he overheard, and he suggested you guys,
I have the
Is he
text
usually-
message from him.
customer of yours. So,
Well, I mean, I have people that probably have not great things to say about me, but it's just being in business, and I've learned that I cannot make everybody happy,
True.
no matter how hard I try.
You're looking at 3 business people.
Yeah.
So, going forward, what we need to do for you is get our trash can, get a plan to either let people buy the toter that you're referring to, 96 gallon, is that what it is?
96 is overkill for some people, but
Right.
there's gonna be a few people that need extras,
Okay.
so.
If you can tell us what you recommend if they wanna go buy it themselves, either this or this, I wouldn't give them too many options.
Okay.
And then we can look into buying some, and
I would
Yeah,
have
but
them and
that's-
sell them to them.
Yeah.
you would have them sell them to,
No, if I was you guys, if I was in the position right now, I would be buying them and selling them to them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I will do with my customers.
Could also
But-
just sell them outright.
Buying 50,
Right.
60,000 worth
Instead
right
of
now,
keeping
Right.
them and tracking
I mean,
them, you could just sell them outright.
I
to
just
them
not.
for 20%.
yeah, that's fine
We
with
can
me.
sell them for $80 to them, where if we make them go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they're gonna pay $120,
Right.
$130.
No, that's fine with me, I don't really wanna keep track of 1,200 trash cans, I don't think that's a great
But
idea.
You
some-
can give
some
them
people
with
aren't
the
first
lid and
one.
the wheels right in it, they can put it.
Right, they can put their own trash
I'll buy it
can,
tonight.
But you got people who aren't gonna wanna pay 2 cents for it, cause it's in my taxes. That's what you're gonna have 10, 15%
They'll-
of people fight you tooth and
There will be a learning curve, yes, we realize that.
I've had a few of those. over the
Somebody's
last
getting an angry phone call.
Yeah.
They'll only fight for so long until they're.
Well-
Tell the trash builds up.
driveways.
The problem is, it's out of our control, it's out of his control, it's just, it's,
It's,
One of those things.
it's where we're headed and we just gotta,
yeah.
No, it's just like disposing of the trash.
I wait for a
They-
different email. It's been better now, but there was a time I checked my email every morning and different towns were going different places and I had to, Hudson Commercial can go to Fiberite, but Hudson Residential goes to the landfill. And I mean, every day was something new.
So
Some-
Perk
we
has
stayed away
been
from that.
sold.
Yeah, someone,
Yeah, that was-
Is it a
that fell
qualifier
through.
again?
It did,
Perk fell
because I
through.
didn't say anything because the closing wasn't until, I think, the 29th of this month.
Did it fall through before or after the fire?
It was,
Because they just burned
During.
it.
Yeah.
They just cut a
So
big hole.
the
in
guy
wall.
didn't come through.
he wasn't gonna put up the money, but it was in this afternoon's paper on.
Oh, yeah.
It was $2.5 million, I think, was it?
No,
Million
1.5.
and a half.
one and a half.
One and a half.
For a building
But-
that catches on fire.
I was told
Oh,
this is the same
place,
guy that
Perk,
put
that
an
place
offer in.
on fire.
tried to work with
24/7.
Fiberite and his back
Every
was
time
checked
we were
out.
there, they were just digging out of the pile and hosing it down so we could dump it
There
back
was,
into the pile.
there was way more fires than they advertised.
Yeah, no, it was.
There was
on
fires
fire
burning
most
there
of
all
the
the time.
They got about $1 million worth of cleanup, just in cleaning up the floor down there.
Oh, I bet.
But the only place, in my opinion, the only way Fiberite can survive is if they work with Perk. Because Fiberite cannot handle the volume. Fiberite cannot, and
this plant in Hampton.
yep,
Yeah,
they
we,
can't.
I'll give Cindy kudos here, she did a lot of research on that, cause we were part of the founding towns,
Yes,
one of the founding
80
towns,
members.
right, with the MRC, and, we chose not to join with Fiberite.
Yep.
You know,
Which, I mean, I say was smart, but everybody's dumping on the same pile right now.
Yeah.
And it is growing. I will say that is just, I throw recycling in the back of the truck, but it's also disgusting for me to see how fast JRL is growing.
I bet.
I mean, just in the overage, where Fiberite delayed its opening, it was like 88,000 tons that went
Wow.
into that one, just on the 6-month delay.
yeah,
They've been opening new cells faster than you can.
4 cells are full out of the primary 6 that they already expected and figured that would go 20 years or something.
And now you can smell it when you're driving across 43, you know,
yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not. Yeah, burning the trash wasn't ideal at Perk, but they reduced it by 90% and made electricity.
Yeah,
That's pretty decent recycling. And they had a tough grinder.
yeah.
I never hauled anything out the only thing I saw rejected from there was it was an 80-pound propane tank that they sent, the loader operator sent back with Evergreen and said,
We
let
had
your
a whole
office know we
conversation
don't
about
take you.
propane tanks.
Other than
That's
that,
how Perk was here.
Tough grinder and away it went.
Yeah,
But this one in Hamden, you can't send clothes, you
No.
can't, Christmas lights, extension cords.
They hated
Anything like
shopping bags, so they tangled up the bearings in their conveyor belts.
Yeah.
It was everything they hated. And then their recycling went out with, I can't remember if it was a bear hide or a black lab or something that got baled in the cardboard. Well, who wants to buy your,
who puts their black lap in the
In the-
cardboard?
You'd be
Okay,
come
yeah.
sit in my office. You can't bury a dog in the winter. I get a lot of phone calls.
One of the little cylinders, I
You,
believe it
who
was
wants
one
to
of
buy
those
your
little
recycling when you open it up and you
propane
got the
cylinders
animals?
that goes on.
Yeah.
So now they
That
can't get
shut
rid of
it
their
down for a
recycling.
week.
Jeez.
So
We only found, when she did the research, didn't you found you have one demonstration plant, I'll say, in Virginia. And there was one plant overseas that was actually
Right.
running.
But it didn't
None
run
to
very
this
often.
scale.
Yeah,
None
but
to
none
this
to this
scale.
scale.
What they were expecting out here.
they needed Perk as a sister company, not a competitor.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
And Perk would have handled all the bulky and all the overrun,
Yeah.
but when you have microbes, bugs breaking down your food waste, they're not working faster because more trash is coming through the door. They're only breaking down your food waste as fast as they can do it. And then you'd send a truck to Fiberite, and you'd wait in line, get to the door, go to the landfill, and you're like, what? You couldn't tell me before we just waited an
Before I
hour in
waited
line?
45 minutes.
They had no contracts for sale of the items that they were looking
It just
to produce
piled
in that
up.
plant.
Yeah.
Right up
Nobody
until
wanted it because
Yeah.
number 2 plastic that is dirty, nasty. Who wants wants to buy it?
Yeah.
And cardboard that's soaked in oil and trash juice and all that, who wants to buy that to be recycled?
Yeah,
Who wants to buy a recycled item that was made from something that disgusting?
yeah.
You know, so now they need to work together. I was really excited when I found out that they both were bought by the same person, but apparently that dream is now
No,
falling through. So back to JRL,
Yeah.
flat tires every day.
alright, so
Tough
do
business.
we wanna,
Sucks.
you want me to give you updates as to where we are
Well,
on this?
you call me, text me whenever you have questions, whenever you guys want me here. If anybody wants to chat, call me.
Okay.
My
What I
phone is
think-
always on.
What I think the plan is, in just moving forward, I think I'll recess this meeting. That way, in a couple of weeks, if we wanna meet again, we can just reconvene to discuss this issue, you know,
Yeah.
that
Maybe
kind
you
of thing.
can send me the contact information for those toters,
Yeah.
different companies,
Yeah.
and, I'll call Old Town. and-
I mean, I know it's not gonna be overnight.
Right,
I also know we could call it April, and we're not gonna start working on it till February.
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
we might as well
So
start
let's just
kicking the
start-
ball, and when
right,
if
maybe
it's
we can
April
get
when
it
it
done.
happens,
but maybe we can get it done by February or March.
who knows?
You know,
We
right.
can-
We'll try to get it done faster than that. I mean,
Yeah.
It's costing you money every time.
It's not ideal for me right
So-
now.
Right,
Really
We'll see
not
if we
ideal.
can get this,
But
going
Going
for it,
fast.
yeah,
we appreciate you stepping in, it was
well,
huge for us.
yeah.
well, it's gonna be good for me once we get a rhythm going. And
Right.
Thursday, I did mention to you Thursdays I have more availability than my Fridays. Fridays I'm really squeezing to
Okay.
make it happen.
okay,
But my mechanic currently is off. I don't want to say off, but he's available on
Thursday.
Thursdays, and he's the one who's been over here on Friday.
We
but
could change the trash pickup date to Thursday.
To help him out now.
To help him
yeah.
out
I
right
would-
now,
but-
yeah.
I'm not looking for you guys to start any unnecessary fires. You know, this is
What?
just stuff I'm tabling, and we
Oh,
will
you guess
we'll
stuff that
power
needs
through
at
it.
some point,
we will
right?
power through it as it comes. But
Yeah,
But what's one day, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well,
yeah, well,
Honestly, I don't
we
say
can-
86-year-old
we can handle
Susie
that.
who has it's a lot.
yeah, exactly.
Don't be
So if we can get a date, we'll
Yeah.
start putting it out maybe by the 1st of December.
Yeah.
The first Thursday, trash will change to Thursday.
Right,
Okay.
first
Give
week
them
of
plenty of
December,
notice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how Thanksgiving's gonna transpire. I mean, I haven't had time to wrap my head around the schedule for that. I mean, we will get you. I'm almost thinking we'll still wanna keep you on Friday instead of bumping you a day, because then
Yeah.
that would be our Thursday.
Okay,
But what we're gonna have for loaded trucks, when, the issue we run into there is all the dumps are closed, yet we have trash to pick up. So I got loaded trucks sitting there that I can't do nothing with, so I gotta sit down and look at all that.
Okay,
Snap the pencil off, figuring that one out.
okay,
But I'm gonna say we'll stick with Friday. We won't bump it a day, but
okay.
that's,
But the first Thursday in December, we'll publicize that, That's
if
when
that's
it's
the
gonna
day you
change.
wanna pick, yes.
okay,
That would definitely make us a little more. And like I told you, my future thing is to have a 4-day work week for my
Yeah.
guys and
Right.
hopefully be a little more desirable to
Yeah.
hiring.
sure.
I have learned money is not enough of a motivator.
Not anymore.
No,
You give them 35 an hour, it works for 2 weeks. Not that I pay any of them that, but there is no limit. They're happy for
I was
2
gonna
weeks,
say,
and then it's like,
hang
what
on.
next?
Feels like I'll be there
Hey,
next tomorrow.
I called. You say that. I called. Those job placement places?
Yeah.
The day workers.
yes,
I called them to see, so if I was in a bind, I could bring somebody. A CDL driver, it's $42, $42.50 an hour. They wanted for a guy, and $32 an hour just for the guy to ride on the back. I'm like, what?
I'm surprised the CDL driver was 42, because back in the day, it was, I was paying $35 an hour for a concrete worker,
Really?
yeah, for a temp.
But the worst part of them is you gotta have them for 2 weeks to
25.
train them.
Yeah.
You throw away money for 2 weeks before they even do anything with you. And then you get 2 weeks and find out it ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
I had a guy showed up the other day. I said, typically my application process is pretty minimal. Show up tomorrow, jump in a truck, ride with a guy.
right,
Before we even talk any further, see what this job is. He comes back, he said, yeah, this is good. I want a guy in the back all the time, and I'm used to making $2 grand a week. And I said, There's a driveway valve. I'm sorry, but this ain't gonna work. But like I said, I've given my guys a ton of raises, and it hasn't changed attitude one single bit. It's still they tell you. I don't remember the last time they requested vacation.
Yeah.
It was, hey, just so you know, I'm taking next week off. What? What are you gonna say? So.
Yeah,
but
Alright,
anyway.
so we'll do that, so the 1st of December, we'll put out notice that we're gonna
we'll
change it.
start this week.
I was gonna say, we'll start this week.
Yeah, try, yes, I mean, but change it for the 1st of December
Right.
is where I'm going with
Right.
that. To a Thursday, so that'll help your schedule on Friday or whatever.
Are you still thinking the mornings on Thursday, like you're doing?
Oh yeah, no, we
Fridays?
gotta get over here. If
Okay.
we're gonna
Yeah.
get through the day, we've gotta, there's no way we're doing you and somebody else in a day,
Right, okay.
but.
December 1st is a Friday, so.
Well, it'd be the first Thursday
In December.
in December.
You'll have to,
So
you'll
you
have
pick-
to,
So we'll have pickup on the 1st and then the 7th, right?
Is that how you
That's
want to do it?
Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
so December 1st will be the last Friday pickup.
Yes,
And then
And then
the
the
following
following
week will be,
Thursday
you know,
will be
Thursday.
the first Thursday pickup.
Okay.
Then we get Christmas.
Yeah, wow.
Great timing.
Oh, it's
It's on a
fantastic.
Monday.
You guys really know how to pitch a job. And I'm sorry how they handled that. The original owner would definitely not have,
Jerry never would have done
never would
that.
have done that. But
Never
that's-
would have done that.
I think his wife was just
it burned out.
overwhelmed.
She was overwhelmed
It's
and no help.
It's hard. It is hard. There's days I wake up and go, what?
Yeah.
What am I doing? But
Right.
I'm too deep
Then
now.
you go to work.
So,
So.
well, thank you for coming down.
Yes, we
Yeah, well, I
appreciate
mean,
it.
thank you guys. Like I said, this is all gonna work out. It's gonna be good for me. It's just,
Yeah, and we'll work,
Deep
we'll
breath.
work toward your goal.
Okay.
It's all good,
well, I appreciate that.
and it's time for us to sort of turn the page probably
Well,
anyway.
I do think it is gonna make you guys a better prospect for the future for if something happens with me. You know, I mean, I can't guarantee.
Well,
my
it's
health.
where,
Set up
it's
so we're
where,
more-
it's where all the companies are going, I'm
You
assuming.
you will be much more desirable of a customer to the future
Okay,
being that way.
all right.
To somebody who'll be able to help you. You know, most people like me are phasing out. You know, they're older guys and
So I have one more question.
yes.
Has to do with the transfer station.
Yep.
How much of a process has it been?
Nightmare.
That's kind of what I've been being told.
About 40 grand in paperwork,
Yeah,
and that's before you even put a culvert in. And then dance. Every dance they tell you to dance,
Yeah.
you dance. You want it over here? Nope, it goes over there. If I wanted it over there, nope, you put it over here. But I technically can't put a bag of trash on the ground and pick it up at my site. I can't put a bag on the ground and put it in another truck without a permit, without the permits. So
well, it was mentioned and I kind of looked into it a little bit and a couple of people that I did talk to said it would be a nightmare.
I get these questions all the time. I get phone calls. Everybody with a transfer station, the customers want to do what you're doing, and everybody doing what you're doing wants to get a transfer
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks the grass is
Greener on the other
greener.
side.
It was kicked around here a
Yeah.
few years ago.
Yeah.
Tony Tossi brought it up one
Yeah.
time.
Oh, Tony brings it up every time he comes in the office.
The downfall you guys have is just your bulky waste and your
Yeah.
non-conventional items. That's the only thing a transfer station is going to benefit.
Okay.
Now you got to keep it open. You got to keep it
Yeah.
plowed.
You
Now
gotta
you
keep
got-
it manned.
Yep. And then I know Corinth. I don't know if you met Alan Lord with that MRC
I've
stuff.
met,
Me and Alan got along really good.
yeah, I know Alan, he does our cemeteries too.
Yep. When he got done in Corinth is when things went to pieces and I had to get my own transfer station. He advocated for me a lot and we worked together.
In the, there with the tri-town,
Yep. Corinth,
Yeah.
Charleston, Bradford,
yeah,
and we got along excellent. But he did a lot of the research like you did,
yeah,
and he was very, very good at what he did. But there was a lot of struggles out there. Like OSHA would come through and write him fines. Well, it was a municipal place. OSHA didn't have grounds. All their things had to be based off their insurance company.
Yeah.
So then he'd have to fight OSHA and tell them that they didn't have jurisdiction or whatever it was there. I mean, he was
Because it was a
constantly.
municipality.
Yep,
Yeah.
and everybody had to do training, this training, new training.
Yep.
Oh, we took in a gallon of paint today, who's trained to,
Oh, what a mess.
but he was ex-military, so he loved that
Yeah.
stuff. They
Yeah.
haven't been able to get somebody in their since who can
Yeah.
even, and that's why, that's kind of why things have
Yep.
parts, and I decided that to survive, I need to be my own advocate,
Okay.
and make my own. It's not fun, I'm getting plenty of kickback from the residents who
Yeah.
think that I'm putting JRL over there. It's simply just a garage with, you dump trash in and load it out into a trailer, but
And then you gotta do something with your trash. It's
Right.
just, I mean,
unfortunately, yes.
our options are really limited, actually.
Next thing you know, you'll see barges coming up the Penobscot River.
Yeah.
Everybody will have a mini perk plant in their backyard, they'll be burning it again.
Exactly.
So,
Well, thank you, Eric. I think
Yeah.
you've answered our questions. I think.
alright, well, like I
Thank you
said,
for
my
coming.
phone's always on, if I
Okay.
answer it, we're good. If you
Yeah.
guys got anything going on, let me know.
Okay.
Safe travels back home.
Yeah, well, it was interesting, but we'll see.
All
I
right.
thank you.
Thank
you.
you. We'll be in
Good
touch.
meeting you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Okay, so back to fire and rescue, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Neil,
Brent
You're
went-
up.
Brent went back to sit in on training.
Right.
I've had it before from Alex, so, yeah,
I gave him this photo,
perfect. Yes.
this one.
So,
Were you
which
able
plan
to?
stand?
Yeah, so, were you able to send him any of the write-up stuff?
No.
Oh, okay, that's what I could've sent, a little write-up for you guys. The gist of it is when Cindy and I, when the conversation happened about the
Yeah.
building, long before it was ever even a thing, I mentioned how nice it would be for a training area to be closer to it. So there's a lot of just lines on that.
Mhm.
I do have a little bit more in-depth thing I can print up and send you guys. What I'm hoping to do, if you guys will allow me, is move our training site, right? So we have the Connex box down behind the salt shed, out behind this building here, up in
Okay.
this
How are
area.
we accessing it?
So.
How are you accessing it?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna come up here.
Yep.
So this yellow line is the approximate property boundary.
Mhm.
Okay, and so obviously there's no road or anything here. So in talking with Cindy about it, who Cindy and Brent both agreed that this was a reasonable idea, there's some conversation about potentially doing some walking trails or community area out there as well.
Right.
Right, so this area here would be like parking for that. And then here, you would have a driveway that came through with a fire pond that we would dig. And all of this I'm hoping to do very, very cheap. We can talk about that in a minute. So what I would say is we would do this fire pond, we do a dry hydrant on either side of it. During the winter, we would plow this out, we would have a dry hydrant and a fire pond down in an area of town that we already have water issues anyway. The closest water supply we have to here is actually the stream where it crosses under 69, and would be a terrible place for us to set up. We'd probably just have to shut the road down because the way cars come down over that hill. So this would solve a bunch of problems as far as that goes. And then and I'm just running over the whole plan for you. There's obviously a bunch that needs to go into this, but you would gate here and here so that this area was blocked off. We would have the red boxes up in the top left corner, our Connex boxes. We have one right now. I eventually would like to have a second. Again, I know that that's something that would be down the line. The little yellow and brown box below that would be another Connex box. It would be a storage area, but also with a roof ventilation prop onto it. Bangor has one that's very similar. It works well and provides storage. The gray area down in the bottom left corner would be just an apparatus parking area if we were to do a mutual aid training. So typically we only need 2 or 3 trucks for a training. So all the other trucks that just carry manpower over here, and so the other places can stay staffed, they park here. And this would eventually be, this yellow box here, would eventually be a building, a 2-story, 30 by 30 training building that essentially we would do everything but flow water and do live fires in. The Connex boxes, we would flow water and do live fires in. So obviously right now we have a Connex box. So what I want to do, if it's something that you guys would entertain, the long-term plan of, is I want to get like a, yeah, let's do it, let's look into this, and just start working on people donating whatever work they'll donate. Get company, see what companies are willing to do to come in and help us get this training facility set up.
That's quite a hill out there.
That's what I was curious
Is
about
that a
too.
good place for an access road, or?
Well,
There's quite a grade out here, like even on that.
when you
Hill
come
there.
off the parking lot,
Yeah.
there's a little bank, but it plateaus right there and it goes out.
It kind
quite
of
a ways.
gradually goes up. I've
And then
been
it
out
starts
walking.
to graduate.
Okay.
When Cindy said like, yeah, this is something I would support, I actually went out and walked it. So it is a pretty good grade, but ultimately, whatever groundwork we ended up needing to do, because obviously there's trees that need to come out, there's stumpage that would need to come out, whatever groundwork ended up being done, a lot of it should just be pushed down.
Because
to level out.
in my little brain, at first you would have to cut the site out, clear it, get
Yeah.
somebody in there to log it, and then create your road
Yeah.
access, obviously,
Yeah,
parking area, and then, from there, committee to create trails back there would be completely separate, I think.
It would
Yeah.
be in back of the training area.
Right, in the
Right.
back of the training area.
Yeah.
So,
The
so
training
yeah, like that
area
little
is
parking
down.
area that's in the gray would kind of just be like, this is what you could do over there, and here's like the initial access into that training area.
right,
And like I said, this is something that I can't really work on any of it until I get a yes, we'd entertain this thought. I might get into it and start talking to companies and start talking to people, and they're like, yeah, I'll do it for 50 grand, I'll come in and clear that. And it's like, okay, well, we're not gonna have 50 grand to clear. I know that that's reality.
right.
But if it's something that we can get people to come in at extremely low or free costs to do things, to donate, I'm starting to get pretty good at schmoozing people. The other option I kind of have, and I've just spitballed to some of them at this point, but I kind of need like let's look into doing this process, is we could sell it as kind of a regional training facility to some of these places that could be helping us with this work. So Hamden, Carmel, Dixmont, us. We could open it up frequently to other people as well to be able to come in and use. And then I have a lot more people with ideas and relationships and
Resources.
Yeah.
things like that. Ultimately, like, the one bonus of the old fire station is that it was a terrible building. So we could smoke it up without any real concern. We could advance hose lines through it without any real concern. We weren't flowing water, but we could move a hose line through it, and if we scratched the OSB wall, it wasn't the end of
Right,
the world.
right.
So the only downfall to us losing that building is our quality of training is gonna go down only in lack of facility.
Right.
Our inability to smoke up this station, which I don't want to do.
No.
We're not gonna be damaging walls. It limits us in what we can do. This is a long-term fix to that problem, short of us driving to Bangor, which we did. We have done that this year, but it's a long way to take the whole crew and
Right.
have other departments kind of on standby for us if something comes in, because we're gonna be delayed and all that. Ultimately Bangor will remain like the big training center in the area that departments go to for certain types of classes,
Right.
but, Orno, VZ and Old Town, or Orno, VZ, Glenburn, just did something similar to this, smaller scale, but something similar to this, where they did like a 3-town regional training area.
Oh, they developed an area, and
Yeah.
where's theirs located?
I believe it's in like East Glenburn, but I would
Okay.
have to look into it more
Right.
specific. I haven't done a lot of looking into that, I just know that they've done it, and that the big reason was just for ultimately one of those departments isn't gonna use it a ton, but
Right.
all three of them, it will get quite a bit of use, and if we were able to do something like this, and again, this is like a multi-year, this is not something I'm expecting to have done quickly.
Right.
It's something I just want permission to start trying to work on, if it's something you guys would entertain.
Okay.
Uh,
So, thoughts, you guys?
I think it's great.
What's the advantage of doing it here as opposed to a place that already exists like the sand shed?
So we could do it down there. The biggest advantage would be getting it on the same side as the fire station, so it's closer to the fire station.
What does that help though?
Just equipment mostly, being able to be close to the station, you forget something, you can get back down to it. As far as maintenance goes, like, it is something that if we plowed out the main road, you know, that red arc there that goes up to it, is if that was plowed out, we could still get up to those buildings to do trainings with them, whereas the salt shed gets plowed to the salt shed, right? So that's a little bit of a further distance.
Can I just throw out a thought?
It'd also be easy to maintain.
I mean, could we use the old station as their training facility? That's a big open parking lot.
I'd love to have that old building for a training facility. Half the time we're doing training, we're masked up anyway. Don't
Thing
even,
is, the insurance company won't insure it.
Won't insure the building?
Yeah, I don't, they'll insure them in it because of the stability of
Right.
it.
Could you use that site for a training facility without that building?
yeah, I mean, it would be starting,
I mean, cause
it
the
would be
problem
starting
is,
with a clear area,
it would, it's already cleared,
right?
it's already gravelled, it's
Yeah.
got road access. It's
The
not
only
too,
thing is if they do training down there, they'd end up shutting Route 9 down because
Well,
of smoke and stuff.
If we were gonna do it there, the Connex boxes, the station would either,
would have to be back,
would have to
way,
be gone, but the Connex boxes could go toward the back of that
way in
station.
the back
Like,
corners, yeah.
it would be where, like, the day room of the current fire station, or the old fire station sits. They would be there.
'Cause
So
how
we probably
far,
wouldn't have to shut Western Ave down, but we would be.
how far
tough.
back does that lot go though? Does it go
That's
back?
it. That's
Yeah.
like
What you
to
see
the
is what
back
you
of the
get?
station.
Yeah, we would, I mean, we would have to take the amount of fill you'd take out of there to flatten it out to fill that up to go back 5 more feet.
On Route 9 would
So
be
when,
kinda
I,
nice
and
for-
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make sure I understand when you train, so when you train, your Connex boxes are full of smoke, it's to train people?
When we're in the Connex box, that's for live fires. So we're actually burning pallets and hay and
Okay,
smoke, real fire.
okay,
And then if my plan is when we get a second Connex box, we would also be doing all of our like water flowing, water application trainings.
What would all that do to the surrounding area here? I mean, we've got a school, so we've gotta be kinda careful with smoke, obviously.
Yeah,
You've
so
got water you're throwing around, where's that gonna drain to?
the majority of it would most likely not even really make it down here based on the water that we flow. But there would be that fire pond going in, as well as the ditching around. The ditching around this building alone would be enough to handle the amount of water that would potentially make it down.
yeah,
The amount of water from runoff you get after spring is more than we could flow in 13 trains of real water flowing. So as far as the water goes, I wouldn't be concerned about that. The smoke concern, we wouldn't be burning during a period of time where school would be in session, or really even the town office.
You usually do your trainings on the weekends?
Nights.
Usually nights,
Oh,
usually
usually
like Monday
nights.
night, like we usually start at 6 for a live burn training. We try to get going by like 5:30. So
Okay.
most of the time the town office is gonna be closed by then anyway.
We'd wanna leave a barrier of trees and stuff here anyway.
Yeah,
to-
which is
Yeah.
kinda how I drew that up. There's those trees in between the driveway and that little road that go back to the training center would stay. Plus
Right.
there's there's wires that run back there. My intention was
The
to
electrical line.
leave all the trees there.
Over there.
Ultimately, if this was something we got a yes on and companies were willing to start working with me, I'd go up there and cut trees down. I mean, I can make that a training in and of itself.
Right.
Just honestly, like having the guys be able to go out and actually cut down a good amount of trees with chainsaws is a great thing. So that
Yeah.
when we get wildland fires, there's also a chance I could make that a class that's actually a certified class. Forestry every now and then is looking for sites to be able to cut on.
Oh,
Just don't let Dwight drive the forestry truck up there.
right.
No, no. There's specific instructions to keep that on a road or a very good trail.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the training site, like you said, it would take several years.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
this-
thinking,
yeah.
I'm thinking at least 2 or 3 years, you know, to get you,
I won't even be near that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it will be longer than that. To
I
get
just-
to get
that's
to that,
kind
it
of
would
why
be
I-
longer than that.
Thought of that site, but you think that the fire would create a problem on Route 9?
It's a little tight,
Yeah.
ultimately, because, you know, they're kind of in like a T on that drawing.
Yeah,
Ultimately, the one that is coming down to you in that, we would turn so that that was kind of going perpendicular to the way the station sits now. The other one would run the way the bays run,
Right,
and I think you'd be all right. It's just a little bit tighter up there.
yeah,
We could ultimately do, because we're not worried about a septic tank, we're not worried about any of that.
right,
You know, the building could still go up in that area. Really, the biggest benefit of that whole drawing is the little yellow box that would be that two-story building,
right,
which is also the most expensive piece of it. That's why I need to figure out how to make it happen.
right,
I get,
Nice thing about the two-story building though, it's, you can use rough cut lumber.
Oh, yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
have to be
yeah, and
nice, just.
you don't even
straight.
need interior wall,
Right.
like, electrical for one outlet would be a luxury to be able to plug in the smoke machine.
right,
Like,
okay,
Yeah.
and even that, I can just get a standby generator for it,
Yeah.
or not a standby generator for it, but a little suitcase
little
generator
yeah,
for it.
exactly,
You know, it is really, it would just be a box,
yeah.
you know.
Brian, your thoughts? I mean, if
I'm
this is something that you're gonna start investigating now and look into and will work toward, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that I start making phone calls and just based on what people's
Right, I mean,
reactions are to
you
the
go as
thought,
fast as you can.
they might just say, absolutely not, this is what it would be, or they might say, yeah, I'll charge you $60,000 to come take the stumps out of it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I know someone who would do it cheaper than that already, just
Yeah.
because I've worked with them a little bit, but that's an automatic no,
Yeah.
because we do have the salt shed area, but if that was something that we were able to do at a relatively decent cost, and hopefully no additional cost to the town,
Mhm.
my intention is to not have to pay for a whole lot of it outside of the fire department training budget. You know, occasionally they're like, hey, this year can we do
It's too bad we couldn't make that.
4,300?
It's too bad you couldn't make that site work. That old site. Instead of spending money,
The salt shed, right?
no, the old fire station site.
I could make it work.
Well,
I'll make anything work, but this would be ideal just because of the proximity to the fire station.
Right.
The closer we are, the easier everything gets.
but I mean, you could
Maintenance-wise, too.
tear down that old building that's completely toxic.
Yeah.
And use that same slab for your two-story building.
Yep, we could.
And put your Connex boxes back as far as you can.
Yep. Absolutely.
The only person that would be
What
upset
did we
is
say, it was 30 grand to tear that place down?
the neighbor behind you. It was 30 grand to dispose of that building.
And ultimately, we're only burning pallets and hay. So the smoke that's coming out of that's really not any different than your chimney smoke and like the house behind it. With all the trees and stuff that are there, they're not gonna get a huge volume of smoke down to them. So,
How long does your training last when you do that? When you have the actual live
live
fire?
burns is typically our longest training that we'll do at usually 3.5-ish, 4 hours. By the time we're start to finish, but burns are typically only, we usually don't light the first fire till 6:30 and we're usually done by 9 with burns themselves. The rest of it's just cleaning up and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, I would certainly, that site obviously makes it easier as far as groundwork goes.
You wouldn't be getting a fire pond there.
Right,
Nope.
no fire pond
You would
there.
not have a fire pond there.
You know, so that, that's another piece of the puzzle is having the fire pond. We've been all right down at the salt shed, and not needing it for live burns because we typically will bring in another tanker or something along
Right.
those lines. This plan would give us the ability to not necessarily need mutual aid in order to do a live burn training for water purposes.
Mhm.
I don't know what you get for water up there though either, if you were trying
That's
to
what I
dig a
was
pond.
wondering.
Up here,
Yeah,
well,
You probably have
there's-
to have a liner up here because it's
you
on such
definitely
a
have a
slope.
liner, but
That's
I
a
don't know
gravel
how deep
bank up
though.
there, yeah,
yeah. So, like I said, there's all sorts that goes into it. I mean,
yeah.
ultimately, if it were something that you guys, like if you guys were gonna support it more to do it where the fire station building is, sure. Ultimately, if you guys don't wanna move it at all, I have an area that I can do this plan in,
Right,
as long as you guys are accepting of it.
right.
best case scenario is our fire pond goes down here where the ice skating rink was.
Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone.
There's plenty of water in those fields to have a fire pond.
Yeah.
Down here.
Down here,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if there's any water up there, but there's plenty of water down
Yeah.
there, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
and then based on what you got for a well,
yeah,
at the fire station, there's water there for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, it was a thought. We can do
I am
Any amendments to that, I'm
Here,
open to.
yeah, here's where I'm at, I'm supportive of I'm of the concept, absolutely, I don't have any problem with that. I'm just trying to do it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't
Just a, couple of things, having it at the old fire station and trying to secure that area
Mm.
is gonna be a huge,
how many trucks,
problem.
how many trucks do you usually have?
Well, if we did, like if I had two Connex boxes, Hamden would start entertaining the idea of coming over for that type of a training.
Right.
It adds a little bit more complexity, but also more work to be done in order to actually get to the fire. So if you had two Connex boxes and we had Hamden, Carmel, and Dixmont come to a live burn training, we'd have probably all four of our trucks, just for the sake of having the rescue truck there, being able to fill bottles and water. And then we'd have 1 to 2 from Hamden, 1 to 3 from Carmel, and 2 from Dixmont.
Cause that's a big area, you're talking, if accommodating all those trucks, I mean,
Yeah.
that would have to be a big area.
Yeah. Ultimately, you know, there's that one little parking area, but if we were doing burns, there's plenty of parking
Up here.
within that area
Yeah.
that there would be parking for, and you could park
Well, you
here.
could park here and walk
Which
up.
would be kind of the advantage of that, is if we did, you know, if we had that building and we had that ability to burn with those two Connex boxes, our current, that training facility would be as useful as the current training facility in Bangor. Bangor gets what they're looking to do, it won't hold a candle to it, but right now, Bangor has a building,
Okay.
a concrete building. So,
We can, I mean, I don't,
we would be able to do really, really high quality training, which we were doing in the old building for the most part.
when you guys go training somewhere else, do we have to pay for that? No.
but keep in mind, doing the training that he's talking about, they've had to go to Bangor to do it.
Right,
Which
Essentially,
takes
since
all of
moving out of the
them
fire station.
that far away from town
right.
for that amount of time. And
Yeah,
this
we had-
will be a-
We put Hamden, Carmel, and Dixmont like on standby. I don't know as Carmel and Dixmont put people in their station, but they had
When you
5
guys
plus-
have to go
They had
train.
5+ guys that knew that we were going to Bangor's training facility.
Right.
for
I think it'd be
training.
great to bring other departments here, so
Yeah.
I'm all for getting something done. I just don't know if that.
I know, I don't know if
how
that's,
that
I'm
works.
just, I was just trying to think of the
I haven't been out there
expedited.
in 35 years since I
Yeah.
went to school here.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, it's an idea, the concept, pick that drawing up and put it wherever.
yeah,
You know, even if it stays down where it is. The biggest problem with where it is right now is having it mowed regularly enough that
Right.
we don't have to worry about, you know, hey, we wanna go down there and train, we gotta get that mowed,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
before or
No,
whatever.
we're
That's the
gonna
biggest pain
do
in the
it,
ass about
it's
where it
nice.
is right now, and then just the distance from the fire station,
Right.
get something, or someone's needing us there, or whatever. The closer it is, always the easier it is. You know,
Okay.
it's like the office to the fire station, it's the amount of work I get
Right,
done
boom, 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 boom,
at the
yeah.
office now and the fire station is drastically improved over what it was when it was at the old one, because I'd get
Right.
up to the old one and be like, I forgot that sheet, I needed to do this,
Yeah,
and so I can't do this amount of work now.
Right.
So, it's just kind of the same concept of just being closer,
sure, sure.
so.
You all set there, big guy?
I am.
Okay. Okay, so that's a resounding yes in support,
Okay.
and, I'm just trying to think, you can start looking into this, I wish I knew how, what that site up there is is what you see, that doesn't go back very far. Is that correct? The old fire station.
Oh, yeah.
The gravelled area is the area. It's
Well-
only, it's, I thought it was an acre and a half.
Well, I don't know exactly what the size of the lot is.
It's like
But-
308 feet by.
The amount of gravel and dirt you'd have to bring in to build the back of it up, I mean,
To bring it up,
that's
I think
a,
that's all it is. It just goes right to.
just falls right off.
Yeah.
that hill is
That's it.
20
Yeah.
feet,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so, you probably know the math on that better than I do.
Yes.
I can see
It's
it.
a lot of yardage.
I
I
can see it
could-
from my hot tub.
Yeah.
If that site was the preference, I 100% could make that site work,
You could.
yes,
And just-
absolutely.
I would be concerned about budding neighbors, you know, you get that smoke billowing around.
I'm sure
You
it
know,
pissed my
that-
wife off.
But
I'd be more worried
burning
about
hang is
the
not the
youngs
most
across the
pleasant.
street.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to, I mean, by the time you clear this and build a road to it and dig a pond and.
I don't think the clearing it's a big deal. You get a bunch of guys together and just do it, you know?
Yeah,
Potentially the Forest Service for the class they've gotta do for their Sawyer class.
yeah.
Right?
You
But
know?
somebody's gonna come, did they take the lumber out,
No,
they take the trees
no,
out?
they don't, I don't believe they do any of that, so, that's all, you know, like,
You could probably talk a woodcutter into just coming and getting the
Right.
wood.
right, well,
Right.
that's,
Cut it
and those
true
are,
length and-
you know, and those are some of the thoughts is, who do we know that this could benefit?
Sure,
You know, the stumpage is the biggest thing that is
Right.
like, is gonna come with a cost, well, how much of a cost?
right,
How do we have to pay the cost?
right.
You know, if you can take the trees, how much is it gonna cost us to stump it? All that kind of stuff, but it's not anything I can work on until I have a yes. So, and again, we might start reaching out to companies and they're like, hey, it's gonna cost this. It's like, oh, well, that's off the table.
Well,
I'm looking at new excavators again, so check back with me before the end of the year.
Oh, perfect.
so I guess you've got a resounding yes,
Okay,
so.
cool. I will start working on it and I'll keep you,
Yeah, let me see what we can come up with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would like to hear the updates, so,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Looks sweet.
right,
It was a field. It's
Right.
going up now, but
so maybe it wouldn't be too bad to clear.
it was.
Yeah,
That's what I remember. But
Well, we used to go sledding
yeah,
at recess,
yeah, that's
so
what it
there
was.
was enough of an incline that we could slide.
yeah. Okay, town manager, you are up.
So I gave you financial reports, on December 18th, there's a, FOAA training that I'd like the three of us to be able to sit down and do. So
Okay,
I'd like to close the office at 2 for us to take that training.
that's fine.
Um,
Those are the freedom of access?
Yes, yes, and if any of you guys wanna come and join in, you're more than welcome. Town policies. So, back in July, I think I had it on the agenda. For some reason, it just went away. We got into doing the fire station and all of that stuff and
Right. Did you
So,
give us a
I did give
copy?
you copies of the policies, I hope you have them, if not, if you could check. I'd like to get them approved or changed or whatever you'd like,
Okay,
by the 1st of December.
When did we get these?
Would have been back in
I'm sure I have them.
July.
I don't have them with me.
I'm not sure I have them. I'll look, I put all my stuff in one spot.
So, if you can't find them, just give me a holler and I'll.
It was a booklet,
Yeah, I
blue
stapled them
page,
together,
yeah,
stapled them together.
okay.
A couple of years ago, I put them in a booklet and
Oh.
put them on the Bible, so.
Alright.
But the reason behind doing that, as you two seen when you come in today, Kurt, next time you come in, we'll show you, but Katie is working on building a new website.
Yes, very nice.
And we'd like to put the policies on there, but we don't have current ones,
Okay.
okay? She says a couple of weeks.
Well, depends, I mean, we can make it go live whenever you're ready. It just won't have certain items.
Right.
Can you add the policies afterwards,
Yes,
Katie?
yes.
You can make it go live so
So-
people can start using
Well,
it.
in the next couple of weeks, be rolling it out live, let you
Okay.
know, and then you can go look at it and make any mention of any changes you'd like to have, or
Okay,
anything added you'd like to have.
okay.
This
Is-
one's gonna be more user-friendly. Google's gonna recognize it for the first time in 12 years.
Okay.
That's the big thing, people can't find the webpage because of that iPage. That was set up prior to me, that was done way back. Who was the guy out of Hamden that was doing it? I can't remember his name, but he's the one that did the iPage
Okay.
and stuff like that, so.
The regular town policy, we already approved that for this year. If that's the one you.
The town policies, the
Right,
building, the
purchasing
financing,
and-
purchasing.
Yeah, that was all approved, that's all done. I know it is.
You remember it? We'll check.
I'll bring my copy.
I didn't get you
He's
to
on it.
sign it.
Huh?
I didn't get you to sign it then, cause we
I
don't have a new
don't
signed
remember if
copy.
it's signed, but I know we did go over it,
Okay.
'cause I
Okay,
looked it up for our purchasing a little while ago.
Okay.
okay.
Alright, I'll check on it. So, just to, so the billing that we do for car accidents,
Yeah,
we just received a check for $7,185.
wow,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, and we've got another almost $700 check in the mail.
Good.
Good.
So,
Wonderful.
one thing I did wanna speak to you about is Christmas bonuses.
Okay,
To get them, set, because if I don't do them this meeting,
they don't go into the payroll.
we go
correct?
till the
Sure,
first of December.
Sure.
So, what do you think on Christmas bonuses this year?
Can you remind us what we did
I
last year?
can.
Fruitcake?
Fruitcake?
Fruitcake pie?
Turkey.
So Rebecca and Juanita got $300, Katie got $650, and I got $8.
Rebecca was new
Yeah.
then, correct?
Yeah.
Thoughts? So,
3, 650, and 8.
Rebecca was new back then, I'm
Yep.
just reminding myself. So. You guys have any thoughts on numbers? How about 450, 750, and 950?
Say it one more time.
450, 750, and 950. Does Rebecca work full-time?
It's 19%.
It's 19% increase.
What was the, you
Last,
said 750 was, what was the original one? That was
650.
650.
700. It's 15 and a half. roughly.
Should we do a lesser amount? Is that what you're saying? Keep it the same, or?
Don't give it at all.
Hmm.
He doesn't wanna give it at all.
Does one give what?
He wants to give out fruitcakes. You have an opinion on any of that?
I don't. I'm trying to work on the same thing for my guys. I mean, my guys, I usually give them, I'm pretty generous, so,
Yeah. Concrete was a lot different than,
yeah, I give them a couple weeks pay.
is that? Is that equivalent to a couple weeks' pay?
What?
No.
450, 750, 950?
Yours perhaps.
I don't make that much.
I know.
I'm comfortable with those numbers. I
No?
think everybody deserves a little bit of an increase, and the hours haven't changed.
Nope.
Yeah, okay, how about that? Do you want me to make a motion, or you?
Yeah.
Okay, make a motion that, the Christmas bonuses are as follows: Rebecca $450, Katie $750, and Cindy $950.
And Juanita's gonna be 3.
And Juanita's gonna be 3, sorry.
Second.
All in favor? 3-0.
The letters on the building,
Okay.
So the quote came in at $2,076.
To get them removed?
They've gotta heat them up till they almost melt. And they wouldn't be able to do it until
Spring.
earlier,
Yeah.
warmer weather.
Yeah.
So we can lock this price in if we commit now, and they'll do it in the spring.
Who's doing it, Cindy?
Bangor Neon.
Bangor Neon. Boy, I don't know where we got those letters.
I know in the end.
Bangor Neon.
Cindy called them.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
I was
Get
sick.
it off.
Oh, good, good.
Seems like a
It's gonna be
ridiculous-
quite a process.
Yeah,
That seems like a ridiculous price. Are they vinyl?
yes.
He said it could take up to an hour per letter because they've been up there and baked in the
And
sun
plus
for
they're
so
gonna
long.
leave residue on it,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have to be washed.
And then they said, he said it could be an additional 500, depending on how much residue is left over. There could be an additional $500 cost to like,
Maybe that, and I
get all the
suspect you
residue
get
off.
fading paint as well.
I stopped using Bangor Neon because they gouge the shit out of everybody. My opinion.
is there somebody else that we can ask? Do you know that would take them down?
For anybody with a heat gun, it's really not that difficult. We do it all the time.
Because the volunteers, that's what they had up there was heat guns,
Mhm.
and they were struggling to get them off. But he said heat guns, plastic scrapers,
Yeah.
typically.
It's basically what you use.
It didn't
and
work? Is that what
just-
you?
just
Well,
glue
I
down.
think
But it just-
volunteers couldn't get them hot enough or what? They said they have to be, if they don't come off easily, he said it's because he didn't get them hot enough. It's
Yeah,
like,
I got a 1,000-watt heat gun
yeah,
that you put it on too long, it'll melt anything. That's a lot for a pretty menial job, to be honest.
Who else does vinyl lettering that might,
There's, what is the name of that sign company?
What's the one up in the
Is it
White
Creative?
Signs?
I'm thinking of the one on, is it Auburn
White
Road?
or Karen signs
Or,
where we got some of
past
those.
Bangor Steel out there.
There's one in Herman, I can't remember.
Are you talking about Karen?
Karen
No.
Karen
Signs.
signs?
No, there's
Is that
another
your
one.
past Diet Arts?
Oh,
There's Da Vinci,
Da Vinci, that's what I was thinking of.
there's Da Vinci out there.
Used them a couple of
Did,
times.
did you call me?
I did, because Cindy started that one, because that's where they originally came from.
Right.
Just to see, and then they were asking about how long they've been up there,
Mm.
and I said, oh gosh, I would guess 20+ years or more. But yeah, they said that might be essentially what it is.
Caleb's 32, I bet he was, if he was 10 when we put those up.
And it might be that their heat guns just weren't enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a crappy heat gun, it's only gonna be like 450 watts, it's not gonna get real hot. Any piece of vinyl, you heat it up enough, it's gonna come off, and then you just clean the glue off.
So Kurt, let's have a lettering party.
I'll do it, I don't care.
Do lettering. How
Yeah, it's
about,
gonna be springtime when
We'll
it's
hold, we'll
warm.
hold the ladder.
That's fine, I'll do it, I don't care, it won't take me that long.
um,
I'm not gonna pay $2,000 for somebody to come
no,
scrape a couple stickers off though.
how many letters are left out there?
Oh, except for the N.
20, there was 24 up there in Cindy's
And the,
original
oh,
email,
I
there's
think
20
the L's missing down there.
O and L are missing on the end, and we're in Uber now because the N is missing. It's funny because we actually had a couple of girls come in on voting day, and they're like, "When did we move to Uber? And why do we have a scoop?"
That is quite a price to take off those letters, but there are a lot of letters. Probably take all of 1 or 2, probably 2 days, I would think,
There's 20 letters left up
to
there.
get them off. Can we check a couple of prices though? Can we call Da Vinci, see if anybody else will even do it? Bangor Neon is the most expensive game in town, I will say that.
Yeah, 'cause that's why we need our electronic sign, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, just, I'm not opposed to it, certainly, but
Maybe we can get a
Volunteer group.
couple of volunteers together between now and spring. What's so funny, Brian?
That concept is gone.
Like I said, I'll come do it. It won't be that
2
hard.
letters a week, should be done by spring.
I've got kids.
Oh, you got kids, well, that's true, free labor. Okay, so there's that.
I think that's it for me.
Wayne Arbo driveway, roads, under roads.
On the road. So Wayne has a area in his driveway, and I don't know what we're gonna do. It's gonna continue. We've had this problem, those driveways over on the north road.
Well, that
on
ditch is so
they-
deep and,
They come down their driveway and take out,
yeah,
but it's undermining the road again.
yeah.
Rip rap didn't help. And I have to say that we're, money-wise, budget-wise, I don't know what to do.
I didn't see his driveway gone.
No, it's not, it's just a small area.
Okay, I'm saying.
What's in there for stone? Good size stone or
They-
just gravel?
They rip-wrapped that, they
Ed fixed
rip-wrapped
that
at least the side
a
going
year
down to
ago.
Sean, Ross's house, that
Yeah.
side. Did they rip-wrap
So,
coming to Wayne's driveway?
yeah.
His driveway's built up really high,
Yeah.
and it all washes, cause he's on a slope, all
Right.
washes down, and then everything goes, so. I mean,
So-
all I have to say is let's maintain it enough so that the road doesn't break apart right
Okay.
there.
So, culvert on the North County Road needs to be replaced. There's a big hole in it. Right in the middle of the road. Another one. I was going Dysart's today, and out comes a Herman sand and gravel truck, went right across the road. Whole load of rock, headed for Herman. They're still using that road, and they are
Beating them.
pounding that road terrible. Them and every other truck that needs to go up down there. So this one, there is a hole, which, I haven't called on yet to get a price, but out of the two things, I'd like to get the culvert fixed before winter. Because if that collapses this winter, it's gonna be terrible trying to get that out of there. But I'm afraid too much more.
If it collapses this
Road
winter,
work.
then the trucks wouldn't use it. We've put a lot of money into that little section of road,
Yep,
and there's literally like 4 houses on it.
yep,
And the bad section, there's no houses and there's one person at the other end.
yep.
And we've gravelled it and built it up and gravelled it and built it up and
Paved
everything
it.
else. There's a culvert on the north road that is sunken.
Yeah?
Got
These, these dump trucks are killing me.
Quite a bump on it, I know.
Yeah, that one I don't like on the bike.
Yeah, that's a movie around bump.
So,
Well, do what you gotta do. I mean, if
Yeah.
there's a hole in the culvert,
it's a big old hole right in the road. The culvert's rusted through and they pounded it down, so.
call Wilman's and get a number,
Okay.
you know. That's about all,
I don't have much of a choice.
that's right, Ed. I don't know what you're gonna do about that.
Okay, I just wanted to make it known.
The wash curtain,
You got the quote for the wash curtain.
yes. I think that's too much.
I agree.
I think there should be a conversation, a revisit of the conversation about washing trucks, and I don't know why there can't be a compromise. I mean, if it's July and the truck got muddy, can we wash it outside? If it's November and the truck got muddy, you've gotta wash it inside, I get it.
Yep.
But I don't wanna spend $11,500 on a curtain.
Nope.
And, maybe we could have that conversation the next meeting,
Okay,
put it right on back on the agenda
okay.
with them. So Bureau of Labor Inspection. So I'm assuming they corrected the fire department came up with all their corrections?
For the most part, yes.
And
Yes.
and they were submitted?
I submitted them today.
Okay.
Most of the issues, if you read through them, was around two things. Paperwork
Mhm.
and our SOPs. If you remember correctly, that was one of my big issues. was
Right,
Getting those
SOPs.
done and getting them finalized, getting them approved. So, we're,
I do remember that we've had this conversation for,
yes.
since the last two
Yeah.
fire chiefs, and nobody's
Yeah.
cooperated and
Yeah.
got it going.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
I plan on getting them approved, because the job descriptions we did, I've gotta put in there. They've got some items that's gotta go in there, but, subsequently, the date on them was not correct,
okay,
because they have not been updated.
okay.
So, like I said, it was medical paperwork. and
Driver's list,
Drivers, they're required to do a driver's, check every 3 years, so. But for the most part, other than the dates on the SOPs, I sent it all in today. We'll see what they say.
okay. Why don't you put this back on the agenda for next month under old business and we can
Okay.
revisit it?
Right.
Old business, the new fire station, the grant update, how in the name of heavens are you making out with that?
I have 3 things left. I need a civil design. I need
A
the
civil,
electrical,
a civil design?
right, the layout, the plot.
Yeah, plot, yeah.
And the electrical, I'm still waiting for. I have talked to Plymouth Engineering. There is a design. I thought he could just put a stamp on it, but he's gotta do a site visit before he does.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll get those 2 things done.
Are they gonna do the civil plan as well?
Yeah,
Or is
Plymouth Engineering they did one,
okay, alright.
but there's been some changes to it. So he's gonna do a site visit, make the changes, then
Stamp
put a
it,
stamp
yeah,
on it, and then I can send it in.
Okay,
Electrical, I'm still waiting.
okay.
And then final inspection. They're actually contacting me now. Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? I'm still waiting.
We haven't gotten our dollars though.
We won't, till those 3 things are taken care of.
Okay.
The electric, it's been a long time in the
Yes,
works,
it has.
hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it has. So,
So, how often do you call Plymouth Engineering?
well, Plymouth Engineering, I just started calling. But between Jeff, Lisa, and, the other day it was Dale because they were on vacation.
Right.
And Luke at Carmel Electric. It's a couple, 3 times a week. So, but
So the real holdup now though is Plymouth Engineering.
both of them. I don't have the electrical design, I don't have the civil design.
Okay. Plymouth develops the civil design,
Right.
has developed it, and Carmel develops the electrical.
Yep. Yep, so, no money yet.
Okay. Old station, old fire station. The legal opinion came in and it's fine.
So, I gave you the paperwork from the attorney's office. Town does own the whole lot,
Okay.
so. I guess it's up to you.
Whether we wanna put it out there or put it on the market or,
Well, I think there's kind of obligated to, but
yeah,
people voted to do it, but.
to sell it. Do we want to first explore the training site for a training site or no?
Not particularly.
Not particularly? Okay. Alright, put it on the market.
Okay, do you want me just to get a hold of Chad?
Yeah, I mean, he did some work
Yeah.
for us on it
Yeah.
earlier, correct?
Yeah, he's local and he's a good guy. I don't see why that's an issue.
Okay. Alright. So sand shed, real quick. So I met with Jeff, but I haven't come back to you with anything because he gave me 2 or 3 ideas of him getting some numbers for us.
Yeah.
But if he does that, that's gonna be kinda thinking he's gonna get the job.
Right.
So
I
I
did-
wanted to make sure.
I did make some phone calls to, oh, what's his name? I wanna say Daryl at Lee Concrete, it's not Daryl. But anyway, and you know what, I have those notes at home and I didn't bring them. About another Quonset hut not a Quonset hut structure, but the other structures, the aluminum structure with the canvas on it. But I think there's 2 things here I'd like to follow up on. That's old concrete there. They said it would work.
There's a small section that has to be replaced
Right.
in the front, but for the most part, yeah.
I just wondered if we just,
If you put another Quonset hut on it, you're gonna have to put a reinforcement wall on the inside, because the new Quonset huts
wider.
are wider.
So a one-sided wall is not gonna be ideal backed up to that old concrete. It's gonna cost a lot of money to do a
Yeah.
one-sided wall.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we get a price on a foundation and a Quonset hut, you know.
Well, I can tell you, one of the suggestions that, in my comment, there's 2, they do one that is wooden arches,
Right,
and then wooden walls, wood trusses,
right, on top of a concrete wall.
on top of what's there. Those were the cheaper, they,
What the longevity of that is,
Yeah.
though. That doesn't seem like, unless it's treated with something that's gonna resist.
Didn't that guy that was here speak against doing something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy that, what's his name, do you remember?
No.
He used to work for Lee's Concrete, that's how he knew they had one up there that they sold them. He sells smaller ones though, he doesn't sell bigger ones. So,
well, I tell you, in meeting with Keith and Jeff, these arches are, Dysart's has one, and that's what everybody's putting up, is these wooden arches.
no, not Thorndike, Unity, we drove by one, a new one in Unity, they have a new salt shed. But they have, it's wooden, but there's quite a bit of concrete exposed, so
8-foot walls.
it's
sorry.
probably a 12-foot wall total,
Yeah.
all the way around. So you've got 8 feet above grade, so your salt is on that, so,
Yeah.
because I think he's got a point, you can't get the salt near the wood,
Yeah,
you know, that kind of thing. I mean, there's a couple of designs we could look at.
No matter what you do, it's gonna be a moisture problem in there too, so.
Yeah.
I just don't
What
want
is Dysart's using theirs for?
Yeah.
salt,
Salt, really?
yeah,
Where is it located? Is it on there, is it on
right
Colebrook
over
Road?
there, as
Huh?
far as I know,
Colebrook Road?
yeah.
Take a drive by.
Yeah, they gotta hold that whole section across the road there. See what they got going on.
I just, I don't wanna
Well,
have
now-
Jeff go through all the expense of
Right.
coming up with a design.
No, I don't either, but I think we need to think about maybe get a couple prices, you know, maybe, I think you should start with new concrete though, if you're gonna spend money. That concrete down there is old.
Well, how long did we get out of this last one? It's been there a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been there a long, long time, and we, had all the concrete injected probably 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6, 7 years.
6 or 7 years ago now, we had
cracks filled and.
all the cracks filled, you know, they can use that epoxy stuff that
Yeah.
comes up to a PSI, a fairly good PSI. And, we've had that repaired, we had the top of the wall sprayed, I mean, we really did some, you know, maintenance on it. But that concrete's probably been there for how long? I don't know when they built it.
I don't either. It's gonna be 30 years.
I remember when I was a kid, so
Yeah. It's
probably
been-
longer than that.
But my point is, if you're gonna spend money on a new structure,
Oh, yeah.
you should put in new concrete. I feel like anyway.
I mean, it's got a shelf life.
Yeah, it's got to, well, and we've repaired it and we,
Yeah.
to go in and put in a one-sided wall would be very labor intensive in there.
It would be
Very
a waste.
expensive.
It'd be a waste anyway to do
Yeah.
that.
I don't know why you would put new concrete against 30-year-old concrete,
It wouldn't.
especially it's been
It's
patched.
just more
it's been-
waste of money.
Yeah, so,
So we gotta come up with a design for a building before we can.
Right, before we even put it
concrete.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do some research into that, see what I can find.
I'll bring my notes the next time too, and maybe I can call you with them and
Okay.
type them up and send them to you.
I know.
Because he did tell me a company online that sells those vinyl and aluminum structures. But he doesn't sell that size is pretty big.
You can find a crew to put one together. Quonset hut is cheap.
A Quonset hut is cheap.
Cheap. You're just gonna find somebody to put it together.
And couldn't you spray that inside of that
Yeah,
Quonset
you
hut
absolutely could.
with, the undercoating
Yeah,
stuff, you know, up
that-
3 or
the
4
black-
feet?
Yeah,
Exactly, I mean,
we'd get plenty of life out of it.
yeah. I'm trying to do it, just try to do it reasonably, you know.
Okay, so I'll table that. I don't have an upgrade. Katie has submitted the grant for the playground, the other piece of the playground, and,
Okay.
I have submitted, a second round, but they're not doing the opera funds at the county right now, they're postponing them till after they get their budget done.
Okay.
So we'll table that one.
Okay.
I do have an update on the foreclosed property.
Okay.
So, Mr. Layton's family is now working with him to sell his house to get him into low income. And I told him that we would work with them if they convince him to do so, to sign off, just get the taxes paid.
Right.
So, he was just in the other day, one day last week.
Yeah.
But they are aware of what's good, none of them were aware of what
Oh,
the
yeah,
situation
yeah,
was.
yeah.
So, but they are working on it, so. I
That's
do,
good. That's
you
good
know,
to hear.
I'll let you know. They are gonna try to get him to,
Do you have anything to say, to add to the building security system issue?
I would like to look into having an independent company monitor it. See what it would cost us. If you don't mind.
I 100% agree with that, because I think it's just become more of a hassle than anything.
Yeah. Yep. And then if somebody needs information, they can just go to them to get it.
And my understanding, the guy that set it up, right, he's not reachable, can't help us with anything,
Now,
so.
no. So, I'd like to look into somebody, an independent, that can monitor it.
So you're suggesting anybody could go to this monitoring company and review the tapes?
I don't believe so. That's what I've got to investigate.
I would think they would have
They
to go to
can't
her.
review the tapes, they have to put in a request, an FOAA request to get information.
Right.
But they all know the rules and regulations for that sort of stuff. But I
Takes our
won't-
liability right out of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
That way we don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
So, I wanna recess this meeting. Can we do that?
Yep.
In case we have to,
Yeah, how soon can we get back on something on these trash bills, cause I don't wanna leave him hanging too long.
yeah,
Well, I will contact him tomorrow to get the information,
Yeah,
and contact them. Um, Okay,
alright, so, it
we're gonna
is,
recess,
yeah, it is 8 o'clock on the dot, and I will make a motion to recess.
and we're gonna recess till when?
Well, let's pick a, tentative date. Here, let's say, next week is Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
next Thursday, week
Next
from this
Thursday.
Thursday.
Holy cow, this month's already gone.
Can we recess just for 7 days? I mean, we could pick next.
You don't recess for 7 days, you recess for less than 7 days.
Okay,
We need 7 days to post a meeting.
okay, but we don't have to post
If you
it.
recess, you're just recessing this meeting.
Well, why don't we recess to a tentative date of next Monday evening?
I can't do next Monday, I've
Okay.
got my football banquet
Okay, how about Tuesday?
Tuesday, Sunday.
Tuesday? Is Tuesday all right with you, Brian?
What's the date?
21st.
Uh,
I don't know, you wanna go a little bit earlier?
Yeah, whatever's fine with me.
5:30? 5:30, 5:30? So I'll make a motion that we recess until November 21st at 5:30 PM.
Second.
Second, all in favor? 3-0, we are recessed.